Ready to dive into the world of Elon Musk? We're going deep today, with Walter Isaacson's biography as our guide. And trust me, this is way more than just rockets and electric cars.
It's about the man himself.
Exactly. What makes him tick? What drives him? Maybe even what keeps him up at night.
And I think to really get him, you have to go back to the beginning. His childhood in South Africa, Isaacson really paints a picture of a pretty intense upbringing, almost cinematic, you could say.
It's wild to think about, right? This tech titan,
Yeah.
who seems to be living in the future, comes from a background that sounds like something out of a thriller.
Well, take this for instance. Isaacson tells this story about a young Elon and his brother walking home after a concert through a pool of blood.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently there was a stabbing, and the victim, the knife, was still lodged in his skull. Just a jarring image. And this is just one of many that speaks to the kind of environment Musk grew up in.
And then there were the attack dogs.
Right. The attack dogs. I mean, imagine that. Isaacson talks about how Elon was even severely bitten as a child, landed him in the emergency room.
It makes you wonder if that's where his comfort with risk comes from.
I'd say so. When you grow up surrounded by that kind of unpredictable danger,
Yeah.
it's bound to rewire your sense of what's considered, normal risk. But it wasn't just the external stuff, right?
All right.
His relationship with his father, Errol's a whole other layer. Isaacson describes him as this really complex figure, charismatic, but also volatile.
Yeah, and that definitely comes through in the book, especially in that story about Elon being bullied as a kid and his dad's reaction, or lack thereof.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Instead of comforting his son, Errol Musk sides with the bully.
I know, it's hard to even wrap your head around.
And then, to make matters worse, he unleashes this verbal tirade on Elon, calling him worthless.
His brother, Kimball, is quoted in the book, saying it was the worst memory of his life
Wow.
to experience that kind of rejection, especially from a parent.
It's bound to have a lasting impact. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder how much of Elon's drive, his need to prove himself, stems from those early experiences.
I think it's a huge factor. You see it in his leadership style today. That constant need to be on the offensive, to outmaneuver anyone who questions him.
And that ruthlessness, if you want to call it that, it pops up even in seemingly insignificant moments from his childhood, like when he taught himself to reverse engineer video games.
Oh, absolutely. Just so he could beat his friends.
Exactly. Or later on, with Zip2, his first company, Isaacson talks about his relentless ambition, how he was willing to push people to their absolute limits.
It's like these little details foreshadow the Elon Musk we know today. The guy who's out there building rockets and revolutionizing the car industry.
It's incredible when you think about it. From dodging danger in South Africa to conquering Silicon Valley, it's clear that Elon's early years played a pivotal role in shaping him.
No doubt about it.
So we've got this guy
Right.
who could have just, taken his winnings from Zip2 and relaxed.
Right.
But no, he goes all in on rockets and electric cars. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is. I mean, Isaacson talks about how Musk developed this, idiot index for rockets.
Idiot index.
Yeah, it was basically his way of figuring out how much rockets should cost compared to the insane prices everyone was charging.
Classic Musk. Find a system that's broken and just hack it.
Exactly. But with SpaceX and Tesla, I think it went even deeper than that. This wasn't just business. This was personal.
You fame.
Oh, totally. Remember what we were saying about his need to prove himself?
Yeah.
To defy expectations?
Yeah.
This was that, but amplified. Isaacson makes it clear that Musk saw these companies as a way to tackle these huge existential threats. Climate change, the need for a backup planet.
It's a lot of pressure, even for someone like Elon Musk.
No kidding. And it wasn't all smooth sailing, right?
Okay.
Isaacson doesn't sugarcoat the tough stuff. Well, for starters, he almost died from malaria while he was in Brazil. Could have been the end of the story right there.
Oh, wow.
And then there were the SpaceX failures, rocket after rocket exploding. Imagine pouring everything you have into something only to watch it blow up over and over again.
Intense. Most people would have walked away.
Right. But not Musk. And here's the thing. In those moments of crisis, he seemed to thrive. It's like the pressure fueled his innovation.
Interesting. So you're saying those near-death experiences, those setbacks, they actually pushed him further?
Absolutely. It's a fascinating paradox. And then there's the whole production hell at Tesla.
Oh, yeah. Isaacson goes deep on that. Musk was basically living at the factory, sleeping under his desk.
Obsessed with every single detail. Remember that story with the floor mats? So there was a flood at the factory, and Musk is freaking out. But not about the flood itself. He's fixated on the floor mats in the Model S.
Why?
He's like, why are we even putting these in? It's just one more thing to slow down production.
Yeah.
He was relentless in his pursuit of efficiency.
I mean, I guess it worked out for him.
Right. And let's not forget about the sensor.
What sensor?
The one he ripped out of a car. On the production line.
He didn't.
Oh, he did. The engineers were horrified. But Musk, he just saw it as another unnecessary component. This is first principles thinking in action. Break down the problem. Get rid of assumptions. Rebuild it better.
That's got to be tough to work with, though.
It was. Isaacson doesn't shy away from the fact that Musk's drive often came at a cost. He pushed people to their breaking point.
And not just his employees, right? His relationships, too. Isaacson talks about his personal life, and it's messy.
It is. But just like with the rockets and the cars, it's never boring.
It's like that intensity follows him everywhere. From the factory floor to his love life, Isaacson doesn't hold back on that front either.
Nope, it's all there.
Whirlwind romances, public breakups, a very unique approach to family life.
Yeah. Complicated is one word for it.
His relationship with Grimes, for instance. Isaacson actually includes her perspective,
Yeah.
which I thought was fascinating.
Oh, absolutely. Gives you a whole other lens to see him through.
She actually describes him as a drama addict, which, I mean...
It sounds pretty accurate.
Right. But it gets at something. This need for intensity, for pushing limits, whether it's in business or his personal life.
Yeah, you almost wonder if he knows how to function any other way.
And that brings us to Twitter. I mean, talk about a wild ride.
Oh, man. Where do you even begin? Isaacson does a great job capturing just how chaotic it all was.
The impulsive decisions, the late-night tweets, firing people on a whim. It's like he was playing a high-stakes game with a multi-billion-dollar company.
Right. Remember when he fired that one engineer
Yeah.
for correcting him
Yeah.
of a Twitter usage data?
Oh, yeah. Or the whole server debacle, moving everything out of Sacramento. What a mess.
Total chaos. But that's Musk, right? He trusts his gut, even when everyone else is saying, maybe not.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes, well...
It's a coin toss.
Exactly. But then Isaacson takes this turn, and he starts talking about the future, specifically AI, which of course Musk has some thoughts about.
Yeah, he's not exactly shy about his concerns about AI safety.
Right. This fear that AI could surpass us, and we could lose control.
Which is why he started Neuralink. He's not just worried about the future, he's actively trying to shape it.
It all goes back to that tension we keep seeing, this ambition, but also this responsibility.
And a healthy dose of fear, too. It's a potent mix.
So where do you land on him after reading all this? Genius. Reckless. A bit of both.
I think it's more nuanced than that. We can acknowledge his accomplishments, the impact he's had, but we also can't ignore the downsides, the chaos, the people he's hurt. It's not black and white.
It's about recognizing the complexity,
Right.
the good and the bad.
Exactly. He's forced us to ask some really tough questions about technology, about leadership, about the future.
And those are questions that are going to stay with us long after we close this book.
For sure. This is a deep dive that will stick with you.
Elon Musk. Visionary. Maverick. Or maybe just a little bit crazy. That's for you to decide. This is your deep dive. Make it your own.